Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of ARCHAEOASTRONOMY from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its makeup has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, for more information. Yes, my family, blessed love, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Welcome to another edition of the Tiger's Nest, the Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. Of course, we are still celebrating with joy and glee and happiness. We're talking about the Earthday of Emperor Haile Selassie I, the 131st anniversary of Emperor Haile Selassie I's born day. We're talking about, of course, the 23rd day of July, 1892, the coming forth of Negusa Nagas. We know him as Lige Tafari. We know him as Rastafari. We know him as Negus Tafari, the very same Emperor Haile Selassie I. Of course, I think we all understand, as the scriptures would highlight, that the heavens declare the glory of the Most High God. If you read in the 147th Psalm, it shows you that the Most High obviously knows all the stars and he calleth them by name. So anyone that is talking about individuals are stargazing when they are decoding the astronomical clock, obviously these people are basking in their ignorance. Family, as we are celebrating again the Earthday of the Mighty King, we want to highlight even the words of Marcus Garvey, who Marcus Mosiah Garvey would have showed us when other people were in caves living with bats and rats. We would have already brought the understanding of the heavens to minute and regular calculus. That's the words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So let us explain now how it is that we as the ancient people could have an understanding of the heavens and how it works. Now, this is the Earthday of Emperor Haile Selassie I. I think we all know the greatness of the man, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Of course, to I and I as Rastafari, it's not just no great man. We're talking about the Most High in flesh. Well, at least that's what I'm talking about. I don't know what someone else is saying, but we're talking about the Most High in human form, the Mawe Haile Selassie the first. So obviously his Earth Day, and not just his Earth Day, but the cycle of his Earth Day. When we say the cycle of his Earth Day, we are speaking specifically of the solar return. That's what we call it, the solar return, when the sun returns to where it was when you were born. And that is why astronomy is so important. And that is why we differentiate it from astrology. Now, what I want to do, family, is to show you not only what took place at the 131st anniversary of the birthday of Haile Selassie I, but technically I will be showing you what's taking place in the heavens now, right now as we speak. Okay, now listen to me, family. This is very, very mystic. I think we all know that Haile Selassie I, being the Lion of Judah, Haile Selassie I, being the Apedimek, Haile Selassie I himself, as we all know, crowned with the triple crown, and the 23rd day of July, according to the horoscope that many ones would use, which is aligned with the Pisces age at its climax. According to that report, the 23rd of July would begin what is known as the season of Leo. So that is very interesting that the birthday of the king represents the season of Leo. The birthday of the king himself, we all know at that time when the king was born, it brought to an end a terrible drought that was taking place in Ethiopia. I think we all know that history, 7 years, no rain, place scorch. Even the scripture speaks about that. The book of Joel talk about how the animals are howling. The book of Joel talking about the cattle are seeking for even a drop of water to come and quench their thirst. But it's all right. Lo and behold, blow ye a trumpet in Zion. Yeah, because the day of the Lord is at hand. It's a day of thick darkness and heavy clouds of the sky. That's the book of Joel. I may be paraphrasing it, but the story is the same. Joel clearly said that there was no water. The place was scorching. The place was dry. The cattle and the sheep could not find grass to eat. That's what Joel said. Then he said, it's all right. Blow the trumpet in Zion. The day of the Lord is at hand. A day of thick clouds of the heavens, Rastafari. Rain, thunder, lightning. And that is exactly how Haile Selassie entered into the zone. Now, this is not no religious conversation here. This is reality. When you are the 9th child of your mother had 8 children before you, and all of them died. All of them died. You never met any of them. And you come out the 9th child. I could imagine that she was worrying about you. And you alive up to now. And the child that was coming after you, you were just a little baby, about 1 or 1.5, 2 years old, and you were having a sibling was coming behind of you, and that sibling, like the others, the 8 others before you, died as well. But the interesting thing with the 10th one is that it died and took its mother with it. Wow. So who is this child that survived? Haile Selassie I. Which world leader you know had a birth like that? Who do you know in general, period, that had a circumstance such as that of Haile Selassie I? Not to say that he just came out and this is the man whose mother. No, he came the King of Kings. He became the Lord of Lords. He was the same one that defended Ethiopia when the Italians came in to totally colonialize Africa. That was the same man that organized the Organization of African Unity and brought all the free heads of Africa under one roof. In fact, he was the one that freed up Africa. That same man who had 9 brothers and sisters who died at birth, and he's the only one that lived. He must be special, don't you think? Haile Selassie the first. So since the heavens declare the glory, and since the Black Christ already showed us that a man shall come that can explain all of this stuff to you that's going on in the heavens, yeah, I think we should at least look at the activities of the heavens, the exosphere, as it relates to the King's Earthday. Now, this to me is just amazing and magnificent. Now, even before we do that, what I want us to do is to observe more so than anything the movement of Venus and Mars throughout this year leading up to the King's Earthday. Now, the Venus and Mars, of course, in astrology, you know, all these planets and all of the signs have their meaning. Now, astrology would have borrowed that from ancient astronomy. Ancient astronomy is not regular astronomy. That's why you would hear us speak about ancient astronomy directly connected to astrotheology. And of course, ancient archaeoastronomy, all of these things are offered as courses right here at the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge, priestisaacinstitute.com, the website. Get all the information there. Now, when you observe how Venus and Mars were operating throughout the year and how they were behaving and the things that they were doing and how they were relating to the constellations that they would have shared leading up to the King's Earth Strong, to me, it's just magnificent. Really, that's how I see it. And I would say from the 5th of May, really, and those who are following our programs, you know that we would have been following the movements of the planets throughout the months. And of course, where the full moon is and where the astrologers try to put it. But Venus and Mars really, I would say, created a bond after the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th of May. Now, what happened is that, again, in astronomy, ancient astronomy, Venus is not only seen as that feminine energy, as astrology points out. Astrology has Venus as the woman and Mars as a man. That's why they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Now, rightly so, again, the Greeks didn't just make this up. They got this knowledge from the ancient Africans. And the energy of Mars is like that, what people call warlike. The energy of Mars is like Jupiter and the sun to some degree. It carries that resilience and ego. All right. And the energy of Venus is that strong feminine energy as well. But Venus also has a strong energy of war. And that is why astrology would not mention that. But astronomy, ancient astronomy, like that of the Mayans astronomy, would speak about Kul Kukan, which is Venus. That's why Venus is directly connected to the Olmec people, the god of war, you know. So you won't get that in astrology. You get that in ancient astronomy. I mean, the Olmec were not dealing with astrology. They were dealing with ancient astronomy. So that is why they could see Venus as the war god, Mars as the war god as well. Yet still Venus, in one sense, being feminine, not as war, and Mars being masculine, still as war. But this is mystic because what happened here is that that strong energy of Venus in its feminine aspect was right at the feet of Gemini in its masculine aspect. while Mars, obviously in its masculine aspect, was literally at the shoulders, I would say, in the right hand for a time of Gemini, with Gemini, the feminine aspect of Gemini. Now, I want to make sure that the listeners comprehend what we are saying here. Again, this is the Tiger's Nest. And if this is the first time you're joining us, I'm very thankful. You know, the Tiger's Nest is exclusively a radio Anu program. It is every evening at 7 p.m. on Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. From time to time, we would stream it to other platforms, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, and the others, Facebook, whatever have you. Make sure you check us out on TikTok as well. Priest Isaac. Yes, we are on TikTok. You just go and check it out. Check it out after this one is done. So we here in the Tiger's Nest, again, leading up to this, we would have been following the understanding of what is taking place in the heavens. So again, you have Gemini, which is a man and a woman. Again, for those who are just coming in for the first time, Gemini is not two little boys, as they show you in the horrible scope, in the astro misguide. You understand? Very good. So Gemini is a man and a woman, not necessarily Castor and Pollux, but Hu and Sa, also known as Shu and Tefnut. Very good. So the point is that from the 5th of May, interesting date, isn't it? Of course, Gemini, I would say, housed these two magnificent planets. Now, Mars was in Gemini for a little bit, but Venus entered Gemini at that time. And Venus, in its feminine energy formation, came in to the masculine aspect of Gemini, while the masculine planet Mars was with the feminine aspect of Gemini. Now, hear me good. As an ancient astronomer, that is something that I personally could read. And not only read, I would have lived the effect of what was taking place at that time. Remember, both planets represents war. I did a program on this when it was happening too. Remember, both planets represents war. Yet still, one is masculine, one is feminine. And interestingly, they are in the constellation that has a masculine and a feminine. Now, of course, that is what astrology does. It knocks you off. We see Gemini as some twin spirit, but not male, female, but two little boys. Ancient astronomy doesn't see that. So what you have a man and a woman in the heavens, a man and a woman's energy, male, female energy, of course, being expressed to all that is around it. And then you have a female planet as such, lodging in the masculine energy of that constellation. At the same time, you have a masculine energy of a planet as such, lodging at the same time in the female aspect of that constellation. That's very deep. That's like left brain, right brain. The left brain controls the right aspect of the goody, while the right brain controls the left aspect of the goody, and that's physical and spiritual. It's being expressed in the heavens, if you can read it. The heavens declare the glory. And again, the dates, you have to understand the dates from the 5th of May. This is beginning. And we all know the 5th of May is directly related to Emperor Haile Selassie I. They call it Cinco de Mayo. And what is deep too, that Venus is at the feet of him, while Mars is in the hand of her. Deep. And both represents war. But it's more than war. It stands for resilience, defense plus attack, determination. It's not always making no war with nobody. It just means you have a goal and you are going for it. That's what it means. So at that time, in Gemini, and Gemini represents couples. Are you coupled with someone? Gemini represents teams. Male and female team now we're talking about. No No funny business here. Male and female team. No, don't get me wrong. Brothers can have a team, a business team. But I'm talking about relationship, intimate relationship. That's a man and a woman. It's not done any other how. A love relationship. Any other how, that's not love. Any man or men coming together saying that they're in love, they lie. That they are lie. Don't stop lying on the universe. Love doesn't come in that kind of package. That is not love. That is nastiness. That is not love. No, make nobody fool you. But anyway, let's not digress. So I'm just showing you that Gemini represents yourself and your significant other, as they would say, male and female. So at the time when these two planets were in Gemini, at that time, that was a season of strong productivity in couples. Some of us maybe missed the boat, but the energy was there for that. And to prove it, it was there for us to work together with each other because Venus was at the feet of Shu and Mars was in the hands of Tefnut. That's very deep. So the male had the female at his feet. The female had the male in her hand. So that energy was being shared. It was a perfect yin-yang taking place. At that time, it only lasted for a few days. It was like a burst of energy. And me personally, I am telling you, I'm not going to go to no deep details, but I saw the effect of that prophecy as it relates to relationships specifically, not just business, but relationship and business. In my case, it was business and growth and expansion. In the relationship scope I'm talking about, myself and my empress and the connection with the moment of that time. That is how it goes, you know. That's how the spirit works when they say the heavens declare the glory. So this ain't no spooky business. This is not no astrologer talking and then Mars is in retrograde. So my little cute cupcakes, what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna light some candles. This ain't spookism. And we ain't playing with no tarot cards. We are observing the literal movement of the exosphere and explaining to you what is happening. So this is deep. And hear this, both planets represent, one more time, war. But it's more than war. War may be misleading. Defense, on the attack, and determination to get what's yours. And again, at that moment, that gone already, you know, at that moment, Venus, Mars was in a very unique position. I don't know when was the last time they were in a position like that. It may have been 700 years ago. We'd have to go back and do the research. But the way that they linked up in Gemini, at that moment, the 5th of May, going into that 5th to about the 12th, the energy, the portals were open. I'm sure you understand that. So fair enough. So when you observe now how they continued to move throughout the month of May and going into the month of June, I'm sure you could remember we had a program the end of May, 31st of May, very key day too, going into the 1st of June, where Mars was basically passing through the beehive cluster. And then after that, Venus as well came through. I think there were 3.3, let me get it straight, 3 degrees and 33 minutes away from the beehive cluster, very close. So what I'm saying now, Mars passed through the beehive cluster. You got to keep in mind that the planets are not specifically like the sun. The sun has a very rigid line. It's the sun that really runs on the ecliptic, you know. All the planets and the moon pass through the zodiac, but they have they have a waiver above and below of several degrees that they go. So not because the Mars and Venus is passing through Kepara, which they call Cancer the crab, that doesn't mean they're going to pass over the beehive cluster. And remember, the beehive cluster is a cluster of stars inside of Kepra or Cancer. But it doesn't mean because you're passing through Kepra or Cancer, that means you're going to pass over the beehive cluster. I hope you comprehend. No, it depends on where you are above or below your middle point as a planet. This is very, very, very important. But it just so happened at this time, both Venus and Mars, after leaving Gemini, passed over the beehive cluster. Now, just the astronomical energy that's related to that must be phenomenal by itself. But just the concept, the beehive cluster represents creation. It also represents the sheepfold, the sheepfold. So it's almost like a protection for the saints when you see Mars pass over, and then after a while, Venus pass over, and they both come out of Kepler. Now watch what they do in the heavens. After they came out of Kepler, both Mars and Venus, in the middle of June, Venus became very close to Mars. Now, you would have to just observe it for yourself again, you know, give thanks, Radio Anu. I know my explanation would make it quite clear. But of course, as I was saying, before May, April and March and February, Venus and Mars were quite a distance away from each other. Remember, these are apparent and actual movements. Remember, the planets are moving, you know, they are rotating and revolving around the sun, just like the Earth. You get me? And of course, the stars, their movement is not the same. So they have a strong apparent movement, although they're moving within their own scope. Everything is moving, and even the rocks on the ground. But that's just another level. And then, but I'm showing you in the movements, in the addition of the apparent movement and the actual movement, what we get here is Venus rapidly getting closer to Mars as the months are moving on. And let me just say, you know, because I know, we have the full flat earth fraternity following us, you know, as much as they disagree with many of what we say, they do listen. And I'm thankful for the brothers and sisters. Well, it's usually brothers, though. It seems to be a male-dominated concept, the flat earth stuff there, but no offense to no one. But anyway, I like to show them for sure. And I'm not dissing anyone, but I notice that even friends that I have that engage in the flat earth theology, when I try to pacify it and say, okay, look, let's not argue over that, but let's look at the movements, what's taking place. You see, because most people that deal with the flat earth literally believe that the stars and planets are hanging balls. That's most the theory. I'm not dissing no one, eh? No need to know for no one to leave no dirty remarks. We need to be a bit more mature when it comes to knowledge. And I must say that group of people there, they're very insulted when you just don't agree with them. I don't know why. I know it seems as if certain philosophies carry a certain level of ignorance. You know, just like how when we were young and even now, Christians, you could hardly say certain things to a Christian. They just bonfire on that quick. No, nothing goes. So God could ever be a man. How could God be a man? Just quick out of ignorance. They don't even want to hear the discussion. So it's the very same thing. Now, if you're telling me these are hanging balls, okay, hanging. Now me, I am telling you, I can come out from night to night and observe the movement of the hanging balls. I don't mean the organized movement of the stars. I mean tonight, one of the hanging balls is amongst a set of hanging balls, and then tomorrow night, it has gone to another set of hanging balls. That's a planet moving. But even if you don't think it's a planet moving, whatever you say, it is up there. But the point is, it has a mathematical rhythm. All of them. Venus, the hanging ball. Mars, the hanging ball. Uranus, the hanging ball. Neptune, the hanging ball. What else? Saturn and Jupiter, the hanging ball, has a mathematical rhythm that they utilize. And I do dare say, most people that deal with flat earth cannot explain the mathematical rhythm of them hanging balls. This is not about the shape of the earth, you know. This is something I study, family. You check it. Sit down for several years, just like how they say Galileo and them people just sit down and mark this every night and mark it and mark it and mark it and watch how it moves. No hanging balls be moving so. No, I just gotta put it that way. So I'm just saying it to bring to the table, to the family, you know, sometimes we need to be humble when it comes to this truth. This is a deep truth. We can't be muddy in the waters with this spooky, linear, old-time European Christopher Columbus fall off at the edge of the planet philosophy to stay in the glory of our King of Kings. You see, when it comes to Selassie glory, I get very defended. I pull my sword, very defensive. I pull my sword. I ready to slow for Haile Selassie. And what I'm talking about here is the full glory of Haile Selassie the First. So when I see people just jump up and he's talking stupidness, the earth is flattened without any juice, without any levels of nourishment to the conversation. Yeah, man, sometimes you have to go for your cutlass and bark a slap in them people's face. Yeah, with the knowledge I talking about. We're not about hurting anyone. With the knowledge, you know. So family, with all the love, man, get out of the ignorance. Wake up. This is not no time to be pitter-pattering and trying to prove yourself right. This is the time to get the truth. Yeah. So you can look up in the heavens, and this is the thing, you know. Let's just be honest. If you don't know what we're talking about, just admit you don't know. Because I surely know. I'm not crazy. I know what I'm talking about. But when someone just don't know, they just don't know. But yet they're defending what they don't know. I mean, this is something else. Family, reading the heavens and the movement of the stars and planets, obviously, is one of the deeper sciences. That's why people like to say, oh, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or this and that, because they have things outside of the planet to be of the depths. Rocket scientists and brain surgeon, these are deep things. Now, this is not rocket science, but we are in the realms of the unknown, in the realms of the mysterious space, and explaining it mathematically in detail. Man, we have courses on this. This is not no barbershop conversation, you know. We have courses on this. Sometimes when we're speaking here, our main concern is that I hope those who are listening can understand what I'm saying, straight up. So the message is for everyone, man. Don't shut off the message, even if you believe in the flat earth. And you young ones who are just gaining knowledge and picking up new knowledge, don't follow no old fogey in their ignorance. A lot of them been following whatever they're following for decades, and they've heard the truth 10 times around, but they are ashamed, full of pride, to say, oh, I was wrong. Yeah. Even I come on my program and say, hey, that program I did 2 weeks ago, date so and so and so. I said this and that, and when I check it, I think that was a mistake. I mean, come on. Yeah. So again, this is the King of Kings we're glorifying, Rasta. So when you observe in the heavens again, Venus was getting closer and closer as we passed through May. After Venus and Mars had their rendezvous as such in Gemini, and releasing such energy of righteousness to the congregation. Makochi there, that's my Makochi from a beautiful chalice I got from Ras, Kenya. Yes, when they passed through Gemini, they got close, I should say closer to each other as the time moved on, as they came out of May, as they both went through the beehive cluster in Cancer, the so-called crab, which is Kepra, The beetle, after they pass through the beehive cluster, in fact, as Mars touched the beehive cluster, Venus actually sped up, touched the beehive cluster. And then when they both came out of Kepra last month, they became extremely close, as if they were looking to kiss each other. Now, what is interesting is that in the middle of July, which we just came out of the middle of July, we are still celebrating the 23rd day of July, Earthday of Haile, Selassie I, in the middle of July. Both planets found themselves right in front of the Leo constellation. On the 9th of the 7th month, 7 and 9, Mars basically kissed Regulus. Regulus is the forefront foot, the real foot, not the drawing now, the forefront foot or paw of the constellation that is known as Leo. When I look in the heavens and on the heaven maps, the sky maps, I prefer to look at it without all the pictures, you know. When you see me utilize the pictures, is for those who may not know exactly what they're looking at, but I prefer it without the pictures, even though modern day astronomy has still depicted these constellation, I would say falsely in many cases, yet still I prefer even to check it. Paul, dead there, boy. I prefer even to check it without the lines, because we have clear understanding of what is taking place in the heavens. But for some who may not know, we utilize the lines, and then in cases, we even utilize the literal drawings, so you have a better understanding. So again, after Mars kissed Regulus, Mars entered into the belly or the domain of Leo. But this is what I'm saying. After Venus came so close to Mars in July, and Mars kissed Regulus, Venus stood still. Venus stood in front of the line where she still is up to now. And Mars has gone into the depths of the belly of Leo to, of course, be eventually joined by Mercury. Now, when you observe this in the heavens, this is very deep. This is very deep, because what has happened, Venus is basically now in what they call retrograde on the King of Kings Earthday. Venus, if you observe it, will literally stop and turn back. Venus is literally turning back and letting Mars continue the track that they were accompanying each other for the whole year. I will repeat, you know, you need to follow this good. It has been several months that Venus and Mars have been working together. Yes, they were at a distance for a while, but to me, they came very close on the 5th of May when Venus entered Gemini, and they expressed a whole astronomical energy, which I myself can testify of as it relates to male and female bond in relation to business and things that you may want to accomplish. I witnessed that and I lived that one for sure. Good. Then after that, they both did something that was very unique. They did not just pass through Kepra, but they both walked over the beehive cluster. That was an astronomical event that stood out in the astronomical world. Okay, fair enough. Then after Venus came out of Kepra, Venus came so close to Mars, as if they were about to touch. But the moment Mars entered into Leo with a kiss to Regulus, Venus specifically halted the same time. Trust me, family, I'm following the thing. The same time, the same moment Mars kissed Regulus, Venus literally stopped at that longitude and began to reverse. That is why you could even observe the heavens using the latitude and longitude. And when you observe the 10-hour, we would call it longitude as such, just for the layman to understand. That is where Venus came and halted, while Mars entered Leo, and Venus literally turned back and went into retrograde. But again, Venus stood on the line and turned around on the 23rd day of July. Now that's deep. After considering all what Venus and Mars went through. And then now, both of them coming so close to each other after defending the man and woman, after defending the little children, the beehive cluster, which represents the sheepfold. This is deep. And coming to Kepra, which represents resurrection. After that, the both of them came before the lion now. And remember, we're in the lion month. We're in Apedimec month. We're in the month of the Earthday of the King of all lions, the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords, Emperor Haile Selassie I. And they both come before the lion itself, Leo, the constellation, but Mars goes into Leo. And Venus slows down and literally turn around. And the date, as I said, check the 10th hour, and the date that they turn around, or Venus turn around, is the 23rd, today the 24th, 25th, Venus back going the other way, opposite direction from where it was coming. This is deep. This is deep. Mercury also playing a very serious part, because Mercury also is entering the lion right now. Now as we speak, Mercury has gone into the lion to join Mars. Venus, right there at the right in front. You could say Venus technically is in the lion's constellation. It's energy for sure. But to touch Regulus, no. Venus is turning around. Now that's very deep. That's very, very, very deep. If you were to see the planets like how some religions would see them like angels, it's as if an angel was leading another angel. You know, remember in the book of Enoch, how it said that Enoch was guided through the heavens, the first and the second, I think, up unto the seventh heaven by some specific angels. And when they reached to the seventh heaven, I think it was, or the sixth heaven, I think it was the seventh, you know, the angels told Enoch, well, we ain't gonna come with you anymore. And Enoch was like, woe is me, you're gonna leave me here? No, man, it's all right. Another mighty angel is going to come and he's going to guide you through. So you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just saying it's interesting, especially those who see the movements of the heavens like angels, because they used to do that, you know. It may have been in some Middle Eastern tribal traditions or some European traditions, even some ancient African outlook traditions would see the planets representing angels. You know, that's why ones would, and they're those who know that they're not angels, you know, but like in the esoteric or allegorical world, that's how we see them representing the angels, less like the sun maybe representing God, etc., and the moon representing the woman, all of that kind of stuff. So what it looks like there is as if Venus is accompanying Mars to Leo, because they're together. From they come out of Kepra, they're together, and they are just a few degrees away from each other. It can't be more than 5-7 degrees away from each other, and they are accompanying each other to Leo. But at Leo, Mars goes in and Venus stops. And Venus turn around. And when Venus turn around, Mercury comes in and joins Mars, the two of them together. And then when Mars comes out of Leo, which will be the time of Marcus Garvey birthday, Mercury, just like Venus, also stops and do a retrograde. That's what you talk about. That's what we're talking about, pardon me, when we say the heavens declare the glory. Family, this science as it relates to astrotheology is deep, eh? I don't want to diss nobody, but this is more than Jesus Christ and his 12 disciples represents the sun and the 12 zodiac constellation. I always hear people with that all the time, and people sound like if they're at the top of the game when they can explain that. That's kindergarten. To me, that's not even kindergarten. That's before kindergarten, Rasta. This stuff about, the sun represents Christ because the Bible says he shall come with the clouds of the heavens and all eyes shall behold him and his crown and all of that. You are correct. It does mean that as well, but that's real, play school, kindergarten, preschool level. What we are dropping here is university. That is why, again, we have courses. How many of you that are listening, I'm very serious now, because if you're serious about information, you listen to us all the time. You have to trust something that we are giving to you. You have to have some understanding that, hey, yeah, man, this fella knows what he's saying. How many of you have enrolled in our Ancient Astronomy course? I mean, it's almost pennies for the course, family. Extremely inexpensive. And the knowledge that you would gain is beyond what we're talking about here. You would get the requisite knowledge to understand all of this without even me coming and talking about it. Our Ancient Astronomy course has been designed to give anyone a good comprehension of how the ancients would have understood the movement of the heavens. Once you enroll in our Ancient Astronomy course, I'm not asking you, not only will you be satisfied and very thankful and happy that you did, but you will be able now to go to the next level, which is the ancient archaeoastronomy and the astrotheology. Although we do cover archaeoastronomy and astrotheology in our ancient astronomy course, but we have separate courses that go in detail with these subject areas. Family, this is not a joke. So take it from I. If you're serious, not just about understanding ancient astronomy, but getting your certification as well, as it relates to being a part of the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge Astronomy course, just contact us. Email us, priestisaacinstitute.com. Let us know that, yeah, I would like to be a part of the Ancient Astronomy course that you are doing. You would learn, as the ad says, how to read the stars. You would understand the value of each and every planet. You would understand the value of each and every constellation and how it relates to your body parts. All of that is ancient astronomy as well, And just for those who may not know, in the very same way that you may see the ad, which is really the introduction, and you may admire it, the course itself is much more graphic than that and much more detailed than that. So family, I am encouraging you, enroll if you're serious about the knowledge that we have to offer. And you're not just a follower, but you want to be on board. I would encourage you to take hold of the Ancient Astronomy course. You have children around you. Many of you have your husband, you have your wives. They can sit in and take the course with you, they may not get their specific certification, but the knowledge, man, that they would gain, you yourself will be so happy that they partook of it with you. All right. Hey, family, as I said, this is Radio Anu. And those of you who are watching this on the YouTube, we're going to continue the discussion on a next level right now, right here on Radio Anu. But we're going to seal the streaming on the YouTube. So all the people on YouTube, press the link below to carry you straight to Radio Anu. So we will continue the knowledge and the information and the inspiration right here in the Tiger's Nest. And remember, you can subscribe to the Tiger's Nest as well, and you will never miss another episode of this program. Even if you're not here, or even if whatever the case is, we're going to send you the program. You're going to get it in your inbox, pardon me, by your email after the program is completed. So like this program, you would get it in your email, and you can listen to it at your own leisure and your own time. The Tiger's Nest, very inexpensive. I mean, one of the Tiger's Nest program is like 16 cents or something like that. I've done the maths. Yeah, when you work it out, especially if you take a year's package. So family, it's up to you, eh? Yeah, definitely. All the knowledge, information is at your disposal. Give thanks for those who patronize. Give thanks for those who understand the seriousness of the mission. Give thanks to those who love themselves enough that they're not afraid to spend their money for something that will definitely enhance their growth. Yes, family, press the link below. Join us on Radio Anu. Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia-Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of ARCHAEOASTRONOMY from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its makeup has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, for more information.